Hey guys, this is Joseph from Play Tennis, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about some moonball magic. Okay, this is a controversial shot in tennis, the moonball. It frustrates a lot of players as well as helps a lot of players win more matches. So in today's video, I want to share with you the advantages of using moonballs in your match play, as well as how we can effectively execute a solid moonball to win more points. Before we dive into the advantages of using the moonball, I want to give a brief description on what I think a good moonball is. Okay, again, this is a bit controversial because there's a lot of players in the tennis community that look down on people that hit moonballs. However, I see it as a valid way of winning more points when you use it correctly. So a good moonball to me is when we hit the ball high over the net. So that lessens the margin for error of the ball going into the net. We hit it with a decent amount of topspin so we can keep it dipping down deep onto the opponent's side, and it's going to give a nice high bounce, ideally above the head level of the opponent, which is going to make it more difficult for them to get the ball back into play or attack you. So what are some of the advantages of using the moonball in your game? Firstly, it's going to help improve your consistency. The reason for this is because sometimes there really is a time and place to execute the moonball. We don't have to be striking nice, hard ground strokes all the time. It's good to mix it up. And let's say if our opponent gives us a moonball, sometimes the right thing to do is give it straight back to them. Again, if they give us a good moonball, it's going to be bouncing right above our head height. We really don't have many options from there unless we're like 7 foot tall. So again, they give us a moonball, we can get back behind the baseline, let the ball drop to where we can hit it comfortably enough and brush it up, give them a taste of their own medicine. Advantage number 2 is you're going to be able to tire out your opponent if you use the moonball effectively. If you keep it deep, bouncing high with good topspin, your opponent's going to have to work exceptionally hard to be able to hit the ball back with pace. And then imagine if you start moonballing your opponent side to side, then they're going to have to work extra hard. And if you keep those rallies long and you're fitter than your opponent, then you're going to be able to outlast them. Advantage number 3 of using the moonball is you can break your opponent's rhythm. So again, I like to encourage doing solid ground strokes with nice pace and decent height above the net. So I don't want us to be moonballing on every shot. We don't have to be a full-time moonballer. However, occasionally when we want to change it up a bit, let's throw in that moonball to keep the opponent guessing and surprise them. If we're just a robot and we're hitting the same pace every time and not mixing up the different heights and spins, then we're going to be predictable tennis players, which means we're lessening our chances of winning more matches. The fourth advantage, and this has already been touched on a bit, but I want to emphasize it, is moonballs are generally difficult to attack. So I'm mainly focusing here on now intermediate level competition play, anywhere from beginner to intermediate level. If you hit a good moonball, generally players in this level will struggle greatly to attack. Okay. One of the reasons is because hitting a ball that's head height or above is generally more difficult. So if we start implementing the moonball, let's say at an advanced level, and we're playing in a competition with players that know how to attack the ball at high heights, it can still be used effectively if we use it at the right time and we use it when they don't expect it. Of course, if I give them a high, weak shot, they're just going to crush it, right? So in order for the moonball to work effectively at advanced level, we want to ensure that we have the element of surprise, we keep the ball deep and with a decent amount of topspin so they can't attack us so easily. So the fifth and final advantage of using the moonball is it's going to help you create more time. in defensive situations. So let's say my opponent hits a great shot that sends me far out to one side. If I execute the Moonball, because it's slower in pace and it's traveling high in the air, as it's doing that, I'm getting more time to recover back to the center of the court so I can stay in the point. So if we look at this clip, you can see the technique is very similar or pretty much identical to your standard forehand ground stroke. However, the intention behind the shot is different, aiming higher over the net, good amount of topspin and height as well as depth, and we're aiming to make that ball bounce as high as possible to make it tougher for the opponent. That pretty much wraps it up for today's video, guys. I hope you found the tips useful. Don't hesitate to drop a comment below. Take care, stay safe.